Hi guys, Miss Davis here. I'm back for day 32 of the Anne Frank series today. And today is a day of much excitement. Again, I know last time we were together we had waited so long for that first kiss between Anne and Peter, and it finally happened on the cheek, through her hair, kind of on her cheek, kind of on her ear. Really exciting stuff. And so today it really kind of picks up in that same place. Most of the journal entries I want to cover today are about Peter and how exciting that all is. And so love abounds in these particular journal entries. I want to start with the entry that is Friday, the 28th of April, 1944. Dear Kitty, I have never forgotten my dream about Peter Vessel. See the beginning of January. If I think of it, I can still feel his cheek against mine now, and recall that lovely feeling that made everything good. Sometimes I have had the same feeling here with Peter, but never to such an extent until yesterday, when we were, as usual, sitting on the divan, our arms around each other's waists. Then suddenly the ordinary Anne slipped away, and a second Anne took her place. A second Anne who was not reckless and jocular, but one who just wants to love and be gentle. I sat pressed closely against him and felt a wave of emotion come over me. Tears sprang into my eyes. The left one trickled down onto his dungarees. The right one ran down my nose and also fell onto his dungarees. Did he notice? He made no move or sign to show that he did. I wonder if he feels the same as I do. He hardly said a word. Does he know that he has two Annes before him? These questions must remain unanswered. At 8:30 I stood up and went to the window where we always said goodbye. I was still trembling. I was still Anne number 2. He came towards me. I flung my arms around his neck and gave him a kiss on his left cheek, and was about to kiss the other cheek when my lips met his, and we pressed them together. In a whirl we were clasped in each other's arms again and again, never to leave off. Oh, Peter does so need tenderness. For the first time in his life he has discovered a girl, has seen for the first time that even the most irritating girls have another side to them, that they have hearts and can be different when you are alone with them. For the first time in his life he has given of himself, and, having never had a boy or girlfriend in his life before, has shown his real self. Now we have found each other. For that matter, I didn't know him either, like him having never had a trusted friend, and this is what it has come to. Once more there is a question which gives me no peace. Is it right? Is it right that I should have yielded so soon, that I am so ardent, just as ardent and eager as Peter himself? May I, a girl, let myself go to this extent? There is but one answer. I have longed so much and for so long. I am so lonely, and now I have found consolation. In the mornings we just behave in an ordinary way. In the afternoons, more or less so, except just occasionally. But in the evening, the suppressed longings of the whole day, the happiness and the blissful memories of all the previous occasions come to the surface, and we only think of each other. Every evening after the last kiss I would like to dash away, not look into his eyes any more. Away, away, alone in the darkness. And what do I have to face when I reach the bottom of the staircase? Bright lights, questions, and laughter. I have to swallow it all and not say a thing. My heart still feels too much. I can't get over a shock such as I received yesterday all at once. The Anne who is gentle shows herself too little anyway, and therefore will not allow herself to be suddenly driven into the background. Peter has touched my emotions more deeply than anyone has ever done before, except in my dreams. Peter has taken possession of me and turned me inside out. Surely it goes without saying that anyone would require a rest and a little while to recover from such an upheaval. Oh, Peter, what have you done to me? What do you want of me? Where will this lead us? Oh, now I understand Ely. Now that I am going through this myself, now I understand her doubt. If I were older and he should ask me to marry him, what should I answer? Anne, be honest. You would not be able to marry him, but yet it would be hard to let him go. Peter hasn't enough character yet, not enough willpower, too little courage and strength. He is still a child in his heart of hearts. He's no older than I am. He is only searching for tranquility and happiness. Am I only 14? Am I really still a silly little schoolgirl? Am I really so inexperienced about everything? I have more experience than most. I've been through things that hardly anyone of my age has undergone. I'm afraid of myself. I'm afraid that in my longings I am giving myself too quickly. How, later on, can it ever go right with other boys? Oh, it is so difficult, always battling with one's heart and reason. In its own time each will speak, but I do know for certain that I have but how do I know for certain that I have chosen the right time? Yours, Anne. Okay, so this is a really interesting journal entry because, of course, there's this big, like, huge, like, a first real kiss, not like a kiss on the cheek, but like a real kiss, like, for serious. And so, I mean, that's all really exciting and whirlwindy, but then this, she does this interesting thing, and it's really very interesting. She talks about the two versions of herself. There are two Annes. And I mean, I can kind of remember feeling like this a little bit like, when I was younger, and maybe not so much now that I'm older, but like there's two versions of myself. There's the loud, exuberant, super like energetic and really like, you know, boisterous Devin. And then there's the quiet, the thoughtful, the contemplative, the the reserved, the shy Devin. And those two versions of myself were like at polar opposites to one another, and I always felt like the really loud me wasn't really the real me all the time, although I was that way a lot. That I was more close to this quiet girl, but she didn't come out that often. And I'm a teacher, and so it's like being on stage. It's like a show, like you have to entertain people and you have to, you know, do your thing and be like personality, real big personality. And sometimes I'm just like, I do my best thinking at night when the house is quiet and nobody's bothering me, and I really am able to be alone with my thoughts, and I do some of my best writing and things in those quiet moments, and I feel closer to who I really am, that quiet girl. And sometimes I think that even the people that I love a lot, they don't know me that well. They're not as intimately familiar with the quiet me. So I really like, this resonates with me hard because I've always kind of felt that there's two versions of myself. And so if Anne Frank had thought it in 1944 and I thought it in like 1994, back when I was young, then, we can't have been the only two girls in the whole world to ever feel that way. And so and otherwise, I probably wouldn't have this book in my hand right now. Nobody would have passed it on to me. Somebody else has to be able to identify with that. And maybe it's not just girls, maybe it's boys too, that feel like there are two versions of themselves, the outward self and the inward self, and they don't often get together, and they're looking for somebody to recognize the other self that no one sees. So, I mean, those are my thoughts on that journal entry. Next journal entry is, I hope I can get it in. It's Tuesday the 2nd of May, 1944. Dear Kitty, one Saturday evening I asked Peter whether he thought I ought to tell Daddy a bit about us. When we'd discussed it a little, he came to the conclusion that I should. I was glad, for it shows that he's an honest boy. As soon as I got downstairs, I went off with Daddy to get some water, and while we were on the stairs, I said, Daddy, I expect you've gathered that when we are together, Peter and I don't sit miles apart. Do you think it's wrong? Daddy didn't reply immediately. No, he said. I don't think it's wrong, but you must be careful, Anne. You're in a confined space, here. When we went downstairs, he said something else on the same lines. On Saturday morning, he called me to him and said, Anne, I've thought more about what you said. I felt scared already. It's not really very right, here in this house. I thought that you were just pals. Is Peter in love? Oh, of course not, I replied. You know that I understand both of you, but you must be the one to hold back. Don't go upstairs so often. Don't encourage him more than you can help. It is the man who is always the active one in these things. The woman can hold him back. It is quite different under normal circumstances when you're free. You can see other boys and girls. You can get away sometimes, play games, and do all kinds of other things. But here, if you're together a lot and you want to get away, you can't. You see each other every hour of the day. In fact, all the time. Be careful, Anne, and don't take it too seriously. Oh, I don't, Daddy. But Peter is a decent boy, really a nice boy. Yes, but he's not a strong character. He can be easily influenced for good, but also for bad. I hope for his sake that his good side will remain uppermost, because by nature that is how he is. We talked on for a bit and agreed that Daddy should talk to him too. On Sunday morning in the attic he asked, "And have you talked to your father, Anne?" "Yes," I replied. "I'll tell you about it. Daddy doesn't think it's bad, but he says that here, where we're so close together all the time, clashes may easily arise. But we agreed, didn't we, never to quarrel, and I'm determined to stick to it." "So will I, Peter, but Daddy didn't think it was like this. He just thought we were pals. Do you think that we can still be?" "I can. What about you?" "Me too. I told Daddy that I trusted you. I do trust you, Peter, just as much as I trust Daddy, but I believe you to be worthy of it." "You are, aren't you, Peter?" "I hope so." He was very shy and rather red in the face. "I believe you, Peter," I went on. "I believe that you have good qualities and that you'll get on in the world." After that we talked about other things. Later I said, "If we come out of here, I know quite well that you won't bother about me any more." He flared right up. "That's not true, Anne. Oh no, I won't let you think that of me." Then I was called away. Daddy has talked to him. He told me about it today. "Your father thought that the friendship might develop into love sooner or later," he said, but I replied that we would keep a check on ourselves. Daddy doesn't want me to go upstairs so much in the evenings now, but I don't want that. Not only because I like being with Peter, I have told him that I trust him. I do trust him, and I want to show him that I do, which can't happen if I stay downstairs through lack of trust. No, I'm going. In the meantime, the Dussel drama has righted again. At supper on Saturday he apologized in beautiful Dutch. Van Daan was nice about it straight away. It must have taken Dussel a whole day to learn that little lesson off by heart. Sunday, his birthday, passed peacefully. We gave him a bottle of good 1919 wine, from the Van Daans, who could give their presents now after all. A bottle of piccalilli, and a packet of razor blades, a jar of lemon jam from Krahler, a book, Little Martin, from Meep, and a plant from Ely. He treated each one of us to an egg. Yours, Anne. So this journal entry, I'm glad that things are back together with Mr. Dussel. That's nice to not have bickering in the house. But more importantly, I think that this journal entry is really important. It may be something that we've lost a bit of in today's society, like the idea of talking to your parents about your romantic interests and what they think about it and the kind of character they see in the person that you've decided to date or see or something like that. And I don't know if it's something that we still do quite as often anymore, but this book makes me think that maybe it's something that might not be a bad idea. Your parents have a lot of perspective on people, and they can kind of see things from a distance, like that you can't really when you like somebody a lot and you're really close to them and you don't really see their flaws or their faults, and your parents might be far enough away from it to be able to see things for what they are, and always are going to have your best interests at heart. And so today sometimes we think of, like, in terms of conflict, like, well, my mom doesn't like my boyfriend. But maybe if your mom doesn't like your boyfriend, there might be a reason for that. Maybe she sees something you don't see. Boy, I wish I could go back 10, 15, 20 years to tell myself that. Oh my gosh. But anyway, I think that the idea of Anne talking to Daddy about Peter and Daddy talking to Peter about Anne and Peter is a really good idea. Maybe a bit of like old-fashioned nostalgia we ought to think about resurrecting, perhaps. Just a thought. So I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Thanks for spending time with me today. Bye bye now.